Can you hear me now? There should be.
Can you go on to
No. You should be able to hear me.
something? Let me pull up. Yes, actually, one second.
There'll be a little bit of a delay.
Yes, actually. Yep. There'll be a little bit.
Hey, there we go. I can hear myself. So here's what I need you to do.
One second. My emergency team 6.
I need you to get into the same room I'm in.
Yeah.
And then talk in there so I can see if I can hear you.
I'll do that. That. And you want to test my speaker too?
Yeah, so hop into the room and then just talk for us.
Hear me. Not on the laptop too? Sound.
Are you muted?
There you go.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, nice.
Okay. And then you can hear.
Is it working? Like, is it? Yep. Like, I should get hardware for now, right? Right?
You should what?
I should get hardware for now, right?
I was just reading the water.
Okay.
Decision. I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Can you? Hello. Hello.
Don't call me. Pause it.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has.
Shelly, can you hear me? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, and then can you hear yourself on YouTube?
One second.
Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna open my personal YouTube and see what happens. Also, I thought we were gonna be in the conference room, not this tiny boardroom.
I don't know.
And you want to test my speaker too?
Yeah, so hop into the.
Yeah, it's working, brother.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's all we need.
We can see.
Yo. I know, I just hopped in. I think I'm out of. But anyways, I'm in. This is currently streaming, and then started as soon as A joins in. I am going to ask if somebody does have, or isn't currently talking to mute yourself, just for the sake of quality audio.
Can you hear me?
You guys?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, we can hear you.
It's working pretty good. I'm hearing some echo. I don't know if that's me.
Can you please do anything about this noise, please?
I don't know if that's me.
Yeah, if you guys go into your settings and make sure you mute yourself.
Yeah, someone might have to mute themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone might have to mute themselves.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds better now.
Okay. You can hear me, right, CJ?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay. You can hear me, right, CJ?
Although is somebody calling the YouTube stream? So nice. Alright. Give me a second, I'm gonna tweet out our YouTube is live. And we'll get started.
Is someone gonna join?
I think Solomon's joining a little bit late. I will say if you are not asking a question, if you could please mute the two guests who are currently sitting at the table. I think we still got some audio coming in from you guys. That would be greatly appreciated for overall audio quality. And if you are unsure on how to do that, you can just hit escape, and if you look at the top bar that drops down, there's a little mic, and you can hit that mute button there. No, you are not. If you look at the, if you look around, you can see people's name tags and then what device they're on.
Actually, it could be a bug. It could be a bug. I think we experienced that last night when I was testing with Solomon. If you're joining from web, I think the mute button actually should work. So that could be that. So yeah, a headphone would definitely help, and that could be that. You could put a headphone or just physically somehow mute your mic on your laptop or your PC. If you like, for example, my
reload the page if you're on browser, and then deny mic access when you reload it. Yep. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hop out of this. I'm gonna share a new link in the Discord. Everybody join that room. When you join, do not allow mic settings if you're on WebGL, if you're in the browser or the app. I mean, it'll be fine.
So I'm in a browser and now no interference.
That's better. I'm wondering if somebody just had the stream open and then also had the browser open and then went AFK.
Probably. You can hear me right, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice. What's up? What's up? Oh, we can see who joins now, at least.
Yeah. This is how it's supposed to work.
Yep. Because I am on my web too, but
What do I need to do to get my avatar, my README player avatar?
So in the main page, there is a over on the right side under login. You can link an avatar, and it'll go through the process of where you're able to actually just link the account. There's a process of creating it, and then you get a link at the end where you can copy that and then paste that into the import.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Stage.
can you still hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, the mute thing is not working.
Oh, fantastic. That's probably what the bug was.
Yeah, because I'm already muted, but okay. That's fine.
Yep. Alright, let me open this up, and then I'm also just going to stream this. Well, I'm going to try and stream. Because if my computer can handle streaming on YouTube and on...
All right, one second. Let me check if I can mute the mic from the laptop itself.
Yeah, try that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sadly.
You can still hear me?
Yeah.
Bro, I literally muted my mic on the laptop.
Oh, lovely.
Bro, this is crazy. Okay.
Yep. Sadly, we're going to have a little bit more work for Solomon once he hops in.
Absolutely. Yeah, if nothing works out, we can still do Discord.
Yep. Yep, that works.
Oh, are you already in that?
Yeah, I started a stage. Now, I haven't done that before, so I don't know how to share my screen on it. But we'll figure it out. Anyways, so as soon as Pei hops in here, we can we can get started. How have you guys' days been going? Good to hear.
What? I didn't hear anything.
Oh, somebody said great in chat, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Right?
That
That is
awesome. Yeah.
is ridiculous. As with anything, there's always fun technical difficulties. Tech is, it's crazy. We'll have issues like this. I'll be in meetings with people, and we'll have issues with Zoom. And I'm like, we're talking about, like, some really cool Web3 stuff, and, like, cool working with projects and different things that we can do. And we're still having issues with getting people to connect to a Zoom call. Like, what is this world coming to? Like, we're trying to move forward. We're doing our best.
Ooh, I think they fixed the collider thing in the corners where, right? You were able to see outside before. Now you cannot in first person. Okay, 1 second. Let me check something. Can you hear me now still?
If you're talking right now, I can't hear you. But when you said, "Can you hear me now?" I heard you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Bro, the connector, like the microphone setting is not even there, but it's still working. So it's probably still going to the same microphone.
That's fine. That's why we're developing things.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Well, let's see. I'm gonna give Pei a couple more minutes to hop in, and then just get started with some announcements, and then open up to questions, because we do have a couple of cool announcements.
Nice luck.
Hazel. Oh yeah, there you are.
Perfect.
I think the meta assets guy was still in the old one too.
Oh, crypto guy. Yeah. Hopefully he sees the new link. All right, and then I know we've got a couple of people that are just listening in the Discord.
How do I mute that? Okay.
Sherry, can you deny that call?
I did.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's say something. There's nothing wrong for alcohol, okay? Just shut up. Right. Yeah. I want one movie, right? So talk to them about the gas. Yes, they'll probably come in next Wednesday. So you know how we gas stuff.
Yo, Solomon, can you hear me?
We are maintenance. I came just to look the hot water tank. Yes, if any problem, I have to guess what about the gas company. You have to wait until Wednesday. Or the one that was stove is electric stove? Yeah, it's the bottom one is working now, the gas one is working. So what like I'm not doing anything like that. Oh, you can call to office and tell them, you know. Yeah, I'll let them know. No problem.
Yeah, Showery had I think what is it called? A mechanic house. Anyways, I think it was a water thing. He had somebody come over, so sorry about that interruption. But
Huh. It is working now. What's up?
yeah,
You were not able to hear me before, right?
nope, you muted correctly.
Yeah, you're not supposed to unmute even once. So that's the bug.
Gotcha. To know what it is, and they'll be able to fix it.
Yep.
Seems like Pay's having.
Should we just move it to Discord and share screen? Is it possible?
Yeah, I think that'll be easier.
Share screen and yeah, just show things and test things. We need a conversation basically.
Yep. We'll do that. We'll see if I can shift this YouTube over to that screen. So, all right, guys, thanks for testing this out. We'll see you in the Discord AMA then.
Will not mute at all after that.
Okay.
The symbol shows muted, but it's not muted. So, but that means you're not supposed to like unmute even once.
Okay.
So yeah.
Hey, do either of you guys know how to share screen on this stage?
You can't. That's what I was trying to explain that earlier.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, it has to be a voice call.
Well, in that case, we'll talk on this, and then anything we want to display, I'll just display on the YouTube Live.
That works.
All right. Well, we've got enough people here. We've had bugs for long enough, and we've bounced around between a few different things. So my apologies to anybody who's having a little difficulty following. Uh, this is our first one. Give us a little grace if you don't mind. We will be doing more of these, and they will be smoother in the future. I promise. So, starting off, we're gonna have a couple of just announcements of kind of where the project is, which direction we're moving on a few pieces, and then kind of open it up. Love to hear some feedback from you guys on just questions you have, things you'd like a little bit more clarity on. But starting off, the big thing right now is you have a way to start earning Reach tokens. So that is going to be accessible through the multi-token ISPO. If your ADA currently isn't staked, I would highly recommend you stake it in that multi-token ISPO, where you'll be able to earn Reach token as well as a couple other projects tokens, which is just a really cool opportunity. It's a world first. Be sure to get in on that while you can. Overall, with the platform, we are making continued strides in our development. So we have our builders coming along quite nicely. Solomon can talk about that a little bit more later, and we can do a little bit of demoing of what position that's in. And then we are actually announcing a contest for people to build their own meta spaces. So for any of you guys that have experience in Unity and are going to use our SDK, which you can get on GitHub, you can start building out some of your own spaces, just like Meta Assets has been doing. You've seen some of his worlds, some of the individual spaces that we've created. Everybody can do that, and we're opening up a contest where.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Finally, my goodness.
Okay, cool. But we're opening up a contest, and we've got a couple of cool sponsors for it. So Leaf Agency, who their founders originally worked with NFT Maker, and then also they're the ones who are very closely connected to SoundRig. They're offering up a workshop for Web 2, Web 3 development and project, kind of just meeting with their development team and spending some time one-on-one for one of the contest winners. We're putting up 10 subscriptions for Reach, so higher tiers of access and what you can develop beyond just the free level of subscription, and more information on that's going to come out on our pricing list. Those are going to be published. And then we have VR Realty is going to be putting up some kind of cash prize, as well as 3DXP Studios is looking at potentially sponsoring something. So that is something that we'll have an announcement going out very shortly on, but be prepared to see a lot more things to do on the platform coming soon. Hopefully some of those will be on there before the land sale. The contest is going to end mid to late October to give people plenty of time to develop something, come up with a concept. The goal is to build a gamified environment or just a unique virtual experience. So those are our parameters, and people will be able to build and share this, and you can share the contest with anybody and just get more people building on it as well. So that's one of the big announcements we have coming out. The other big thing is we are putting out an ambassador program for people who are just involved in the project, love what's going on, and want to share Reach, and we want to incentivize you to do that. So there will be applications for people to apply, and there's going to be a tiered system, very similar to if you guys have looked at Genius's ambassador program, where different tiers of ambassadors earn different levels of rewards, earn token. For us, it will be gaining access to a number of spaces that they can utilize or create, and discounts they can give out to projects that are interested. So that's one of the other cool things that we're glad to announce, and we'll be onboarding over the next month or so more and more projects. So those are, I'll say, the main the main announcements for what we've been doing, and kind of some of the developments that are coming out. I'll let Solomon speak to the builder a little bit, and kind of what that capability looks like, and where we're moving in that direction.
Yeah, so the builder is really coming along great. Hopefully it's going to be similar to, I don't know if you guys have played Sims 4 or like Sims related games. That's kind of where we took our inspiration from. But we're going to try to make it as simple as possible. We're not making another game engine. That's the whole point of using Unity, is to allow Unity, which is a game engine, in order to do game engine things. Whereas the in-app builder is just going to provide you a more streamlined experience where you can take pre-existing prefabs and objects that have functionality already put in them, and then create a shared space that you can enjoy with your friends with a few clicks of a button. And so that's our current progress on that, is essentially just developing the prefabricated objects that you guys can use to create more realistic spaces and have fun with that.
And if you are watching on the YouTube live, currently showing what the builder looks like, a little bit of how to use it, place different things, how to move around the space, and some of the different things that are capable with.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear some questions from you guys and just what you guys are curious about, how things are moving. So if you do have a question, feel free to raise your hand. I believe that is you're able to do that within this AMA.
Yeah.
Or if you're on YouTube, you can shoot a question in the chat and I'll keep my eye on it.
Yep. First off, sorry for the link didn't work because we didn't realize that the web mute button didn't work. Just one of the things being multi-platform and have every nooks and cranny. We didn't even think of it, so apologize for that.
Yep.
That was quite a storm right there.
Yep. Thanks for bearing with us. Obviously, those things
Yeah.
will get fixed as we move forward. Looks like Buffalo's got a question. I'll pull him up here.
Hey,
how you
Buffalo, how's it going?
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
All right. I just found the YouTube link. I don't know if you guys can share it in that room for the people that pause that.
Yeah.
There we go. As you can see, I just YouTube link. So kind of excited to see what we could do. Was hoping to see a little bit inside there, but even from here, now that I've got the video pulled up, you've got some robots standing there, some walls standing there. Mm-hmm. Are these just structures that you put in there, or is this something that you got the robot from, some other 3D model and dropped in there, or is it something you built in there? What is it?
So first about the robot, something interesting. So we came up with a concept called the proxy bot. Essentially, when we're done with it, basically what you're going to be able to do is you can pick your own skin. That would just happen to be some asset from an asset store from Unity. And actually you can buy it from Sketchfab too. And it's just a 3D model. And then, but really what's cool is the functionality. So we're going to put in some kind of basic functionality to represent the user while they're not present in the metaverse. So in that way, when you're walking around, you can put NPCs in there to replace yourself while you're not there. And then you can pick like conversations that people can interact with you and ask some questions. You could be used for advertisement and business use as well. You can assign the robot to roam around your property and such. So yeah, it's functional.
Right. So almost like in Sound Rigs nightclub, they've got a few girls dancing on one of the boardwalks or walkways or something like that. Essentially, these robots would be something like that, an NPC character you set up to do whatever.
And then you can assign animation. You can assign really simple like instructions. Go walk over here and then do this animation for 5 seconds, and then go walk over here, do this animation. If this person approach you, pop up these menus. or dialog menu, and if he hits option A, say so on and so forth. So eventually, we're going to open up that functionality to people later on, and it's a meta prefab, so like anybody can just use it later on. If that answers your question.
Okay. So I see we're on a white block here. So is this the size of one land sale? I know they said they're roughly an acre. So is this a land sale sized white block?
Yeah, 63 by 63 meters. That's 1 acre. Yep.
Yep. So this is how much area one plot will get you to work with.
Okay. So if you're planning on building, let's just say a shooter game, you're probably going to need a number of plots next to each other to have the scale to, have a house building and a pond area and a riverboat or whatever it might be.
That's correct.
Huh?
Yeah, and you'll have furniture options and stuff like that. And the furniture is not just like props; it's actually functional. So, like I said, it's similar to The Sims. So it's kind of like if I place a shower here, I can actually hit F and like take a shower in there, and it has actual functionality. And yeah,
that's stuff you guys are making available in this builder. So if I was to use Blender and make my own that functioned or didn't function or whatever, I'd be able to import that as well. So I could use the builder and bring stuff in, or is it one or the other?
So you can bring stuff in. However, you'll have to pay a certain amount, like a subscription fee, in order to do that, at least at the moment. We don't want to open up too much of the public listing like we have for the metaspaces right now, just in case people like decide to abuse it and upload like pornography or something. We just want to make sure that that's locked down and we have the proper policies in place. So for right now, if you want to do like publicly listed meta prefabs, which is what those are, it's called meta prefabs, or just like prefabricated metaverse objects. You'd have to pay a certain subscription fee to do that.
A subscription fee to you guys, and then you guys vet it, and it's in there forever, or subscription fee, you guys vet it, and then you got to pay every month for it to continue to stay live in there.
Yeah, you would have to pay. Well, I don't know, CJ. What would you say?
It depends on which kind of situation you're talking about. So whether we are whether you're talking about like creating your own personal space, so not like a land sale or creating stuff on your land, but if you were to create your own complete space, so kind of like you mentioned Soundrig earlier, to create and host a space that is larger than what the free tier of use is, which is what was it? We just changed the let me pull that up real quick for you, just so we have it. So for example, the free level of subscription allows you to have 100 megabytes of space for your uploaded world. If you're going beyond that, that is when you would need to pay a subscription to keep it up monthly. And that's very similar to like Wix or Squarespace. There's a simple level of a website that you can have, but when you start adding more and more functionalities, more and more size to it, it has a draw upon the hosting server, and then to kind of basically cover that cost is where the subscription comes in for the larger, more functional things. And those are things that you'll be able to utilize to either.
So the way
business function.
I kind of try to explain it is that you're either a creator from a personal perspective. You just want to create a meta space, and it's not really for business use. That's for like you don't have to pay subscriptions for that. But let me explain how this ties into the LAN. So what CJ and Solomon just described there is more for people who wants to kind of do business, like the other project that worked with us that are paying the subscription. It's like $80 a month or something like that. That was that Carnage Crew? Was that it?
Yeah.
So Carnage Crew did that, and they have the pod raising game on our metaverse, and then basically those are what the subscription are geared towards for like projects that wants to monetize, and then you can actually do whatever you want. You can make your own metaverse if you want, powered by Reach Engine. However, for what you're describing, if I'm getting you right, you just simply want to have your own 3D model on a metaspace, correct? On your own land plot. Is that what you're trying to get?
Well, that would be one case, but yeah, you're answering my question, which is essentially, I'm Joe Schmo. I buy a plot of land and I want to put a gallery on there to just have my own NFT gallery where I can host all my NFTs. Great, right? Or I'm Joe Schmo. I want to build a clubhouse for our XYZ club. Doesn't even matter what the club is, so we can go hang out in the metaspace in this building / outdoor environment, whatever you want to build, right? But maybe you want to put only because Lamborghinis are everywhere in crypto, but maybe you want to put Lamborghinis on it that people can jump in and drive around, so whether it's somebody doing that or whether it's someone who wants to buy, and maybe they wouldn't even buy land, maybe they would just do the subscription thing and do it there, but maybe it was someone who wanted to build a shooter game so that way their NFT avatars could go into there and have paint gun wars. We talked about that in Discord the other day, not that that's exactly the plan, but something like that where they want to go in there and build a paintball battlefield, so I guess understanding that SoundRig technically is a separate stand to the side thing, nothing to do with land or condos or anything like that,
let me build off on that, and I think this will hit home to what we're talking about. So essentially the short answer is yes, like what you're describing, that's what we're building towards. But there's two phases. This current phase, let me just describe it this way. Later phases, the answer is yes and yes. But for this current phase, let me explain how this all works. So the land, the whole point of Eden Land and all that stuff is to create a hub, right? A hub, it's a draw place, a common place where people come in. Because, you look at Roblox or other YouTube or something like that. If you want to explore somebody else's metaspace or somebody else's world, what do you have to do? You have to scroll these pages, right? And then we're at the mercy of the algorithm of what's being in front of us. There's so many tiles in two-dimensional space to fit in and grab our attention. So the whole point of land sale and the whole point of the Eden continent is to basically take all that type of stuff, 2D representation of all these thousands and thousands of tiles of experiences for people to look at, right? Make it into three-dimensional, addressable place. And then you can have maps. Now you're actually traveling in a very immersive, entertaining way. So that's the whole point of having Eden. Now, if you buy land, you automatically, anybody can create a metaspace on Reach platform. But the value is where there's discoverability, right? How do people know you exist? Are they going to keep scrolling? That kind of stuff. So that's the whole point of land. So if you buy a plot of land, you can actually have a portal that links to your metaspace. That's for a really simple, vivid example. Let's say in the city of or District 1, if SoundRig decided to, buy a building or something like that, right in the heart of in the center of where all the condos are, and they want to have that to be a portal to the SoundRig metaverse, they can do that. So the whole point of Eden, it's the same aspect, but now for everyone. So everyone can build a palace. So, but what they see on the palette or on the palace, it has to be somewhat curated. It has to be, because it has to work for everyone. It has to work on mobile or on mobile. We won't be able to make it available on web anytime soon because of the WebGL limitation to only gigabytes. So you have to use the app in order to really full-blown explore the continent of Eden. So when you're moving around Eden, there's going to be stories, there's going to be gameplay elements to make it more entertaining and more add more value to it as people explore the land and see other people's creation. However, those buildings have to match performance criteria, because if there's 1,000 people, especially there's 25,000 land plot, and each one of those have 100 different unique models, that's going to be impossible. That's going to be thousands of gigabytes, right? And then you'll be stuck on the loading screen forever. So that's why we have to have it so that the exterior of the building is something that we provide, so that it's kind of somewhat uniform, curated, and everybody has a good experience. Now, when you go to the land, you can actually launch a metaspace that links somewhere else completely, and then it's separated by a loading screen. So I hope that kind of answered your question. But in later phases, we're going to be able to allow you to upload your own 3D models with some limitations. But in those algorithms are very, very difficult to get it right. So we want to at least get something into your guys' hand and start being, start living in the metaverse. And as we allow those features later, if that makes sense.
Yep. And Pei, so sorry to kind of cut you there. Kurt's been waiting to ask a question for a little bit, so I want to get him in real quick. Be able to hop up on stage and ask your question there.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you short there. I thought that was a good answer, and I'm interested in hearing that. But my question is somewhat different. It's more about, and this is probably for new people who are just learning about this now too. But you have 900 condos for sale. Well, many of those have been bought already, but there's some number of condos still for sale on the JPEG store that people can buy now, and there's a cap of 900, and that's located in the city center in District 1. From what I understand, there won't be any more condo sales, so those are the only 900 condos in the city that will be able to be purchased. And then you have your land sale coming up towards the end of the month, September 30th, and that's 25,000 land plots. And I note that there are some plots that are snow, some on beaches, some on sand, grass. There's different kinds. Is there any difference in utility for the land plots based on what terrain they're located on or anything, or are they essentially all the same utility for the user? So is there any value in getting snow over sand over grass? And then what's the difference in the utility of the land and versus the utility of the condos, if you could go over that?
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good question. So when it comes down to strict utility for the land, I'll start there. The biome type does not have any extra utility in that, like, you'll be able to build special things on one type of land, which is why we've kept the price on them. It's more of an aesthetic option because we knew we were going to have a more realistic land type, and in that feel of a realistic land, you're going to have different types of biomes to make it very, very much more immersive. And in that, some biomes appear more often than others, and I feel like some people will prefer certain biomes to others. So we wanted to give people the opportunity to kind of have an environment that they liked, and also be able to have multiple environments. So that's where it's more of an aesthetic choice for people on which land you pick, and which ones that you get. And odds are the snowy biomes will disappear first because there aren't as many of them. But utility beyond that, I think you did mention that there are only 900 of the condos. Those will continue to give early access to things that Reach puts out. So just like if you have a condo, you're able to get early access to the land sale on the 30th before the public sale on the 7th. You're also going to get tokens when our tokens are generated. There will be more of those tokens given to condo owners than people who own land. Landowners will still get some, but it's a from our perspective, it's very much a thank you to the people who came in early and believed in this project when it was originally created and bought into the condos before even the land stuff was on, was really rolling. So that's where some of that utility of those condos, beyond having a location where you can spawn in and customize your condo within the city, beyond just that, there's also some other elements of token utility and pieces of that and access. Does that answer your question, Kurt? Oh, he hopped down. So I'm gonna assume that answers the question. I hope it does.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say to add on, or well, not add on because CJ already mentioned it, but I guess the utility is in, and I know there's like a standard definition for utility, but I would say the utility is in if I want to build like a beach house, you know, I'm probably not going to choose the snowy mountain, you know, biome in order to do that. And also, you know, like Basil was mentioning, the little mini games that and experiences that people will be able to build. You know, there's utility in that people can choose certain land types that they want to host these events on. Let's say somebody wants to make some kind of snow themed, you know, map or world within the Eden land, or when I say world, I mean just like land, I guess. They're not. They would just choose the snowy over that because it has, like CJ said, an aesthetic that matches what their desire is.
Yeah, if I can also go deeper with that, is the whole intention of that is also for creators themselves, because the whole point is for creators to make experiences for people. So, for instance, if crypto guy, Meta Assets, wants to create, let's say, an RPG quest over Eden, and he has like a really nice epic NFT he wants to give away, and it involves, it's however he wants. Like, okay, this is going to be quest number 1 in the snowy region, and he wants to drop something in that, drop some kind of quest that people can go and do some games if he owns like a land, or if he even wants to rent some people's land that they owned in the snowy regions, just to be according to whatever he writes. So that's just kind of a simple example, if that makes sense. Like where we create variety so that it also can differentiate, and we leave it completely open to the creators themselves to create the experience that people would come in and play. So in this particular case, this will also open up economical value in terms of renting out, and that's completely done off the board. We don't worry about that. You guys do it yourselves. You can do however you want to do as far as transaction and stuff like that. Completely decentralized. If that answers your question on one of the possible utilities of different types of biomes. I think CJ and Solomon cover most of that, but in the creative side of things and development side of things, that's one of the utility that could be utilized.
Hey Solomon, I have a quick question for you. How do I rotate things?
Scroll wheel.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm building a house.
Nice. Yeah, we don't have a lot of examples there.
And by launch, we're going to have a lot more prefabs that you can build. We're going to work on the roof. You can place the entire building, as you saw what CJ did there. And we're going to have a few more of those.
Yep.
So you can, right off the bat, fill up your acre with really fun stuff.
Yep. And then it's like Meat Machine has a question here, so I'm inviting him up to say.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I do have a more technical question, actually. So you are using the Unity engine and I suppose also Unity tools. So I would like to understand what part of what you are showing now is actually Unity and what part is Reach in the building process?
I don't know what's on screen, but I'm pretty sure if he's using the builder, that's 100% reach.
Yep.
Yep, I'm in the builder build that you would.
Yeah, what you see right now is not on Unity at all. This is complete 100% inside Reach app, and you can do this on the browser too when we're done.
Okay, so you're not using Unity assets integrated, or are you using assets that are integrated into your use of interface?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so like the actual prefabs themselves are uploaded using Unity. So like the 3D model we have there. Yeah, and it's not, we don't have a 3D artist, so we can't just like hire him to do that. So we just use the asset store to get some nice looking assets.
And that's one of the things that Reach really allows people to do is really increase the functionality of small teams. Be able to take something and then make a lot more of it and add a ton of functionality very fast. So you can spin up virtual spaces at a speed at which previously wasn't possible.
Yeah, just to help everybody. Well, first of all, before I cut you off, did that answer your question?
Yes, essentially. This is what I was expecting. So it's I get what you are doing there. So also, let me just add something. So you are hosting servers, right? On which you are doing this right now?
We're hosting servers. What do you mean by that?
Oh, where are you storing your? I mean, it needs to be some kind of cloud, right? Is it your? Or are you using a cloud service for that, or is it your
that's
PCs?
Correct. Like none of. Okay, I see. I think what you're getting at is, are you saying that is this part of the pre-built app? Like, is the core app contain all these assets and stuff? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, something like that. Yes, yeah.
No, it doesn't. All this is streamed from a server. So it's all dynamic. So you use the SDK in order to upload content into the server. It doesn't have to be Unity content. It can be FBX files and stuff like that and images. But right now it's primarily the Unity assets that are compiled using the engine and uploaded into our server and then dynamically instantiated at runtime. So the game app that you see CJ using right now is probably like 250 megabytes max, because there's like literally only code and some shaders in it. That's about it. But everything else, like the functionality and the art and the 3D models, all of that is hosted and streamed. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Yep,
yeah, just and to expand on it, what I was going to say, because, and this is perfect because this actually goes into another thing that I think is a confusion, because this is such a new space, and so I don't blame anyone for not fully understanding it. But it's always nice to have a comparison or an example that I can go back to and learn from, so I can kind of ground myself, because obviously nobody creates new things. There's no such thing as a new thing, right? Everybody expands off of something that someone else has already made, or builds off of an idea that someone else had. So to get to that point, one example of this is VR chat. It's a very early example, in fact, but they're doing pretty good actually, like in terms of their community and stuff. Though they're more like anime style. Well, that's because of the community, and they don't have to be anime style, but it's an example of a platform that uses a game engine like Unity. It actually does use Unity in order to be its sort of content-driven development platform. And what you're seeing with, like, let's say Pavia or Decentraland or other projects, I'm not sure what platform they're using. I'm pretty sure they're using Unity. However, I don't know that for sure, so I'm not going to say that they are. But they want to build kind of like Roblox, a kind of like in-app editor, right? Where you can, they're kind of like a game engine, and then essentially you're just playing, stuff that you built on their game engine with their like pre-built stuff that's already built into the app. Except they do have the ability to like download stuff, although it's like GLTF files and it's not really the same. But apart from that, the difference is that we're actually utilizing an existing game engine built by actual professionals that's been tried and tested, by AAA developers. So we're not recreating the wheel in that sense. However, in the future we will have more tools for people to build in-app, but if you want to get like nitty gritty stuff that's like high quality lighting, AAA graphics, AAA sound, custom, logic and stuff like that, you will have to use Unity Engine, because that's what we're doing for that sort of aspect of things. And it's no different than opening up Decentraland and going to build.decentraland.org and then using that as your game engine. It's the same exact thing if I just downloaded Unity and then installed the SDK and uploaded, and published using that. And also too, there's a lot of advantages of us not building our own engine, because you don't have to wait 5, 6, 7 years for us to go from version 1 to, version 25 or something like that. Unity's already tried and tested and, has a lot more experience than I think a lot of the industry who's trying to go that other route does. So hopefully that
to have our own somewhat of an engine at some point. We want we want to basically not be too kind of like dependent upon Unity. We want to leverage them to give us a head start. And by the way, we're doing everything debt free, so our company is very low risk of going under, because risk, from my experience, debt is very detrimental to how susceptible the business can go under. So that's one thing, and that's why we move slow and we leverage whatever we can leverage to really focus on the goal. And the goal is essentially our mission is just to do what you see we're doing here.
Yeah, and basically what I was trying to say with the VR chat thing was that there are plenty of platforms that already, or example, also Neos VR. Some heard of that. It's just like VR chat. It's a little bit more advanced. But all these platforms, what they have in common is they utilize Unity Engine and an SDK in order to upload really low-level content with functionality. So.
Yep. And yeah, so we... Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to ask a quick question, too. So my understanding is land plots are somewhere where you're building a user experience for your project, your club, your whatever. But if you wanted to build a full-blown game or, a super immersive world, then you would do that as an instance, which is completely separate from the land, although you could port them or link them together.
You got it.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the concept of what people are able to create, we've coined the term meta spaces. So when if you're going beyond just the base level of what everybody can build and adding on multiple meta spaces, when you start interconnecting those are the building blocks that create the meta. So it's like taking multiple web pages and stringing them together in a coherent way makes a really good website. And people don't even realize that they're jumping between different pages because it's very seamless and well. That's what you'll be able to do with multiple meta spaces and linking them together. Crypto Guy, I hope you don't mind. I'm hopping into your one of your demo worlds that you've built just to kind of show similarities of what land looks like, because you did a really good job with what you've built. And
before you go too far into his, though, just so you know where I was going with that question is, so building on the land, you've got these tools for us to build and be able to create our own buildings or characters, things like that. Once you're in an instance, do you still have those same building tools, or at that point, do you really need to, be a Unity, builder essentially, and like you said, build there and then have it, the SDK, which I don't even know what that is, but but really build it there, or do you have those same building tools in these instances?
So that depends. There are 2 ways. One, you can create your simple space similar to what you saw with just like the white sheet. That was the amount of space that there was, and then building on top of that, there is a way that you can create your own individual custom spaces. Those will be relatively simple, and the functionality that you'll be able to get out of them will only be what is you are also able to do in the builder. Beyond that is where you would need some level of Unity experience to develop a more flushed out, more, I'll say, interactive world. Does that answer your question?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to add that we have plans to. I mean, this all depends on funding. It depends on how successful we are, and we can build from that. But we do have roadmaps, a phantom roadmap. If we reach this point, yada yada, we'll be able to hit this milestone and be able to deliver this feature, so on and so forth. One of the things that we envision is like a quest builder, like something that you don't have to have Unity. Like right now we have like Edendale that was done in Unity, so you have to have pretty much a pretty good knowledge of Unity to do that. We want to be able to give the tools to people that don't even know how to use Unity and make it so simple in the terms of it just drag and drop, connecting dots, and be able to create experiences like Edendale, like where it's you got cutscenes, you got some quests, you got some storyline going. You can have your own like voice acting if you want, and so on and so forth. So we do have plans to make those include that in the builder in the form of a meta prefab that people can actually use and customize.
Yeah, and the reason that we're doing that is because if we were to just make another editor, we're just basically doing exactly the same thing. Now I have to learn how to use Reach rather than use Unity, or now I have to learn how to use Decentraland's editor. Now I have to learn how to use Horizon Worlds as editor, and like it would be as if we're just doing the exact. It's like insanity. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And so if we were to build another complex game engine for Reach, we're just doing the exact same thing over again and expecting a different result. Oh, now I'm going to have to learn to use Reach. What's the difference? That's how I see it. Yep.
Cool. Also, another announcement. Showery and I will be at CNFTcon. So if any of you guys are going to be there, we'd love to see you. And on top of that, we do have an extra ticket we would like to give out to anyone who's interested in going. So that is something that we'll do. We'll put up a drawing for in the general chat right after.
It'll be fun. Any other questions?
Quick one on that. You guys are going to have a booth, or you're just going to be there carousing, checking out, and meeting people?
We haven't decided on a booth yet. We submitted the stuff for it. I haven't heard back yet. We are planning on doing a couple panels. So a little bit of both. But
I'll be there. I'll try to check out any panels you're on.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely, if we can, get those things recorded and pushed out. Then we will be sharing all of that information.
Mike, I don't know if you guys have the full agenda yet, but if you want, I can. The Winged Warriors are going to be streaming CNFTcon from their penthouse in Vegas, their penthouse metaverse thing. But I can always hit up if they're doing a panel, put it on there.
Yeah, sure thing, of course. But I think unless there are any other questions, we're hitting 3:00, and I think an hour is a good amount of time, even with some of the issues that we ran into. But if there are other questions, I would love to hear them before we hop off here. nuts are.
If you have any feedback for us so far, raise your hands and then we'll pull you up, and then would love to hear on feedback. What would you like to see, and like how do you see this thing playing out in the long run and stuff? What you're hoping to get from this and so on. We would love to hear that.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you.
Yeah, so I just want to say you guys are so awesome, and I have some feedback. Yeah, it's just that I feel like that Reach, out of everything that I've researched all the metaverses in Cardano, and I've spent a lot of time in VR chat and Rec Room and other non-crypto metaverses before that, and I think I feel like a lot of us really who've been in sort of meta spaces like VR chat kind of know what we like and know what we don't like, but also know like what's wrong with their business models and their business structure. VR chat for one, and its inability to like help any creators themselves. It has to all be done kind of outside of VR chat, which is one way to do it. But the thing is like, there's just a lot of problems with that whole idea. Plus, they don't have an in-game building system. But then there's something over on the other side, like Rec Room, which is kind of like simple and childish and whatnot. But the games work well because of it being so limited. But it also has an in-game building system, but it's kind of glitchy and stuff. And their business model doesn't allow for like them to ever like spend enough time to fix things for real that people actually want in their community and stuff. And that's kind of like what I feel like the old models have been like. And so I just feel like what Reach is doing is kind of like what I feel like you guys really have taken like what's going on right now in other spaces like VR chat and Neos, and have taken like what's been wrong with them and are seriously trying not to go that route. And I appreciate that. I also had one thing that I hope that about adult content is like, I hope that there can be some clarity that way so that, maybe that adult content can somehow be allowed on Reach if there's some sort of like separation that could be made, or extra registration or whatever. So maybe like a project like Stripper Coin could come over and have their space here or something like that, and reach that kind of audience too, because I think that would be cool. But anyway, yeah, you guys are awesome.
Hey, thanks for your feedback. Love hearing it. I'll give you a little bit of a
thank you, Mr. Basic.
A little bit of a history on where why we chose that direction to go that you highlighted. Is when we were first talking about this, like when Reach Cloud just started. It was actually a conversation between Showery and A and I. This is actually before I knew Solomon, but we were talking about how, like, what metaverses were and where, kind of the state of metaverses back in November of last year, and looking at like what you were able to do. And Pei was just like, well, why do you have to be in that style? Like, why can't you do this, or why can't you do this? And I'm like, those are great questions to ask. You should be able to do these things. You should be able to create something in your own method, in your own manner, in your own style. So that's one of the original things that we were definitely thinking about. So I'm glad that is conveyed and you guys see that as well. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I never thought about it like that. In terms of the old model, you're kind of right on that, and that that there's limitations in terms of and lack of support. So I'll actually ponder on that more and try to figure out how we can do better in that area so that we provide the best developer experience.
Right, and also, yeah, Also coming from the standpoint of VR and somebody who's trying to develop in VR and even design in VR software and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of I know it's a kind of a tough thing to know how to deal with that. Like VR chat from my standalone Oculus, it's just so limited in hardware capabilities that you can't you can't go to most of the worlds. It literally won't let you go to, it'll only get, it has Quest capable worlds, and you can't see most of the avatars that people have in VR chat if you're using an Oculus Quest 2, because it's so limited that it would crash the hardware, right? But that is changing, obviously, this year, the next year. There's a lot of changes in hardware that way, and so I understand that too. And so I'm kind of in limbo as a VR creator, and I feel like it's great to have some hope that way, for a platform that that possibly would have a good way to show people, all types of worlds and simple ones for the simpler devices like that, and then tell people when they're coming in, like, this is a low, this is a low poly world, or is a low resource friendly world or whatever.
Wait, you're VR creator? Are you creating on Reach?
I'm trying to create in things like Gravity Sketch and OpenBrush, and then porting over to Unity to upload to Reach. So that's what I'm kind of trying to work on right now.
That's one of the things we really geeked out about. Like, it's why we love, just being able to support guys like Crypto Guy and, anyone that wants to create. We're just a group of passionate creators. We just want to, that's the whole point of doing this. We want to create a tool that, and a community of creators that can just unleash their imagination in this new medium. So if there's any way that you guys have an idea of how we can help in that, like fanning the flame, or how we can make things easier for you, what kind of tools idea you have, and how can we help you guys connect better? Like how can we help kind of like incubate the creators? Maybe you guys, my dream is like, new passionate creators can just quit their day job and start their own metaverse gaming company, and then they can use Reach. They can start with Reach, and they don't have to be tied to us forever. If they get really, really cool and really, really big, and they can just launch their own VR game selling on Steam, I don't care. That kind of stuff. So that's just why we're here. I got excited when I hear that, oh, you're also a VR creator. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas on how we can improve the creator community aspect, we're all ears.
Yep, and Crypto Guy has really good ideas, and so does Hookman. So appreciate you guys. Keep coming with the ideas. We accept it, and we don't like to see any criticism. We don't like, I'm not trying to be mean, but no, be mean. Tell us like it is. Tell us how it really is. And
you can be mean to us. Don't be mean to one another.
Yeah, exactly. And because we need that so that we can actually know how to improve.
Absolutely. And also, if you're using the SDK, reach out to one of us, let us know. We have an SDK user tag that will give you, and there's a chat for the people who are utilizing it, which you guys can be great resources to each other. And like, oh, I tried this works well, or this optimization piece, or are you guys having the same bug, or is this just me? So love to foster that kind of community relationship.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Do that right now.
Any other questions, feedback? How about this? I'll ask you guys a question. Like, what do you, any ideas on how would you be able to use your land besides, like, how do I say this? Like, so why why? What is the main drive for you to own land in the metaverse? If I know that's an open-ended question, but I would love to know and understand more of how we can improve that and then make that more of a value add for you guys. That's because you're spending your resources on this, and
Apart
I want to
from
make
just the standard ways in which we already know that people
right, a
want
part
to
of
use the
what
land.
we're already launching and making it available.
I can tell you from our group, which we've got our chat going, which there's project owner in there. There's 4 mods for other projects, 5 mods for other projects in there. That one of the things that was exciting to us with what you guys were doing with your land, which understanding it a little better now is a little different, but was that ability to build out on the land experiences that you want your people to be able to take part in, which is still possible on a smaller scale. You're able to do the simple experiences for them to go in and whether it's interact with a bot or interact with each other while they're there, stuff like that. But that ability to customize it and build it within whatever frame you want versus oh well, this is XYZ project, and when you're here you have to do these 7 things. So that freedom to kind of build was pretty exciting. I think as far as what we're talking about, at least when you guys have the white paper come out, I think it's going to be important that you guys that the scope of what a condo is of your own personal space, and then the land being a community space where you can share experiences, a 3D Google search, whatever you want to call it, and then the instances or the meta spaces being where you're really going to go develop something out. That's where that would be. So, but yeah, no, I think just that building.
Yeah, everything is explained in white paper, like about the Unity SDK and how to use it, why Unity is there, and like what is Reach Cloud as a company and what is Reach Metaverse. So everything is in white paper. If I can give an overview on like how Reach Cloud and Reach Metaverse are kind of different, but it's basically the same. But any company that doesn't use that doesn't want to link with blockchain, that development, if they are building or we are building it, it comes from Reach Cloud, and anything that is related to Metaverse and blockchain, it is linked to Reach Metaverse. So yeah, hopefully white paper clears lots of questions. I guess it's been a month. We were trying to push it out, but yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the things I was talking with another project. Yeah, we were finishing some of the pieces of white paper. So we'll get back to you as soon as we're done. I was like, I know what that's like. It takes so much longer to write a white paper than I thought it did. So I do not begrudge any brother project that's currently writing one. It's necessary, but it is not the most case, in my opinion.
Yep, I was just basically back to school when I was writing it. When we were writing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
We so if we got maybe 2-3 more minutes, I can talk a little more about the condo, the vision for the condo, and why we make the city the size that it is, and the detail that it is, and the way it's laid out, and so on. You guys like to hear about that, or you want to save that for another time?
I think that would be a good one actually to save for another AMA, and then we'll plan for some showcasing of the condos in that system, and specifically show, or kind of as a teaser, that is there. Also, I did just get a question in the YouTube chat where it was asking if it's possible to get. Or let's see, let me just read this. Will it be possible to change the graphics settings to get, for instance, very low graphics if you wanted, or maximum graphics if you have some super PC?
Yes, we just added that actually, and in fact, what I'm working on today is obviously fixing the mic. That's my fault, guys. I'm really sorry about that. But one of the things that I'm working on right now is so that when you first start the app, the first time you start the app, it's going to actually look at the device information, like the CPU, the GPU, and everything that you're using, and it's going to properly adjust the quality settings so that you have the best experience. But you can go into the metaspace, whatever metaspace you're in, you can always hit that cog icon at the top. And then once you're in there, you click graphics and you can adjust to the different quality levels. And it's just simple for now. Later we'll have like shadow distance and all that kind of stuff, but we want to keep it as streamlined as possible so that people don't get too confused.
Yep, and I just pulled that up and showcasing that right now. And that's another thing, that if you are a creator of a space, you'll be able to determine things you're within your individual space. Right, Solomon?
Yeah, so that's another cool thing about using Unity. However, like we said, in the future there will be strides towards improving a custom builder that has tools like this in Unity. However, Unity lets you modify per platform the compression levels and really detailed information about textures and materials and shaders and quality settings and shadows and all sorts of crazy stuff that you can do to optimize your scene per every different platform. Yeah.
Cool. Well, with that, I think we'll call it. Thank you, everybody who attended and everybody who asked questions as well. We will post something in the general that people can react to, and then in the next hour or two, we will select one of those people who react to it to get the NFT ticket for CNFTcon. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate your all's time and your dedication to the project. At that, we will sign off.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right. See ya. Bye.